What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. First thing I want to do, congratulations, Joyce. Hey, that was a hell of a performance, man. I was picking Daniel Dubois to win by knockout and brutally. And let me tell you what I saw. Now, before this fight, watching Daniel Dubois' potential, and like I said, this is his breakthrough fight. This is his breakout fight to say, okay, let's see where you stand with the top guys. And we know Joyce has been there with Usyk. We know that Daniel Dubois, he showed power. He showed that he has heart, and pretty much just his willingness to go in there and try to go through his opponents, and he's been doing that. Now, we also know Joyce could take a punch. We know that. We know his stamina is crazy, and Joyce, he's been the distance. Daniel Dubois hasn't. But my confidence in Daniel Dubois wasn't just what I seen him do physically, but listening to him talk, he understood Joyce's weaknesses. He understood what he needed to do, at least verbally, to win against Joyce. And he also, same things that he pointed out, things that I seen in Joyce, that I felt like Daniel Dubois has the speed, has the power. He should be able to take advantage of those things, and he couldn't. Simple, he couldn't. Joyce is a slow starter. Joyce, he kept popping that jab all night long, and Daniel Dubois, to me, he couldn't break Joyce's will. He was landing right hands all night, man, and Joyce would just take it, and Joyce kept applying the pressure, and Daniel Dubois couldn't handle it. He swallowed his eye closed completely shut, and Joyce just kept chipping away like Pac-Man. Just kept coming. And the thing is, Daniel Dubois, I say by the fourth round, I started feeling like this is not looking good. Why? Daniel Dubois took all night to finally start throwing body shots. He couldn't get out of the way of that jab, and even though Joyce is slow, he was landing the shots. So it's like, okay, you see how to beat him. You could even explain how to beat him. You know how to beat him, but all of a sudden, getting in there, it was just different. He couldn't do it. So, like I said, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I definitely picked Daniel Dubois to win, and I never looked at it like, oh, there's no way possible Joyce could beat him. I just felt like he understands what he has to do to win. He has the power, and he's fast enough to get the shots there. I mean, he was hitting him with some massive right hands. Joyce didn't look bothered by not one punch he got hit with, man. I mean, it was a couple of times where he was jumped on him and threw some stuff. Like, Dubois had his moments, but I think that his will got broken, not so much by Joyce, catching him with the J. Even though he was catching him, it was more like, God damn, what do I got to do to get this guy out of here? So I think all of that played a factor. Joyce wasn't even breathing heavy. Daniel Dubois was tired. He was exhausted. When he took the knee, when he went down, he couldn't see. And, pretty much that could have led to permanent damage. His eye was nasty, man. It's closed shut completely. Joyce did his thing. I mean, I tip my hat to both of them. It was a good fight, man. And I believe Daniel Dubois is going to be so disappointed, to the point where this is going to bother him for a while, because he wasn't throwing body shots, and when he did, it wasn't consistent. He wasn't mixing it up. He in the same way, like in training, where you see his trainer telling him he wanted him to move his head, stop moving back in a straight line, or period. And it's like he fought like he just forgot how to do these things. Now, he can take this loss and learn from it. Of course, nobody likes to lose, so it'll bother him for a while. But if he sit and watch this fight, he's going to really be pissed at himself. But now he's disappointed. I'm pretty sure he is. But I'm pretty sure when he sit back and watch the fight, he's gonna think, "What the fuck was I doing?" Because I'm looking at him like, "Damn, Daniel, what are you doing? Like, you're not doing the shit that you normally do." And Joe Joyce, he kind of reminds me somewhat of like how Foreman was. Foreman just take his time, come in, take his time, and even though he looks slow, the shots are landing, and he's heavy. Joe Joyce has heavy hands. Not well. He put like this. Some shots he throw because he got weight. It's not so much the shot. It's boom. He's a big dude, so he has weight behind his shots. So it's more like a heavy-handed shot than more like that Jolton Pearson type power. That boom. It's just that I got weight behind my shot. And it was times like when he was doing the grabbing his neck, putting his weight. He's doing what he's doing. The big man's supposed to do. But Dubois didn't do like we normally see him do. He didn't have that same aggression, that he normally has. And what I saw was Joe Joyce was better conditioned. Joe Joyce could take a shot, and Joe Joyce never lost his confidence. He couldn't, he wasn't going to be denied, man. And Daniel Dubois couldn't make the adjustments that he needed. And he's going to really be pissed because it's one thing when you don't have the physical tools to do something, but when you have them, but you just can't put it together, that's what I saw. He just couldn't figure out what to do. And I'm like, where's the combination punching? Come on, man. He landed one big shot. And like I said, there's a couple of times where he landed right, then he uppercut, he followed hook, but not consistent. And maybe he was worried about conditioning. Because I'm pretty sure they know that Joe Joyce, that's one of his strongest attributes is his conditioning. So it was a solid fight. We enjoyed the fight, man. Me and my kids right here, we enjoyed it. And it was a solid fight, man. I loved it. Even though I was pulling for Daniel Dubois, I like them both as fighters, but I was pulling for Daniel Dubois. But it was a solid fight. No excuses. No. I mean, Joe Joyce did what he had to do. So hopefully for Daniel Dubois, he doesn't let this ride him to the point, because a lot of times fighters lose a fight and he start getting depressed and we've been seeing that lately. You lose one fight and all of a sudden just disappear. I hope he doesn't let it get him down, but it's going to definitely kick him up the ass. And trust me, when he watched the fight over, he's going to be like, what the fuck was I doing? I mean, he just kept getting hit with the jab. He couldn't escape the jab from early in the fight on. And it looked like when he went down, he just like, fuck it. Fuck it. Because he couldn't see, man. He couldn't see. And Joe Joyce just kept popping him with that jab. Popping him. And I'm like, where's the head movement? Why are you like, come on, Daniel. I'm like, yeah. And basically what happened, his inexperience showed. And Joe Joyce kept his poise. So Daniel Dubois never been 12 rounds. It got stopped in the 10th. It was the 10th round. So for him to deal with that kind of pressure with the eye closed, and there's no need to say, well, if his eye wasn't closed, well, his eye got closed because he was getting hit. So like by the 4th round, I was feeling like, because my kids just like, man, he got to step it up. Like, yeah, because we was all pulling for Daniel Dubois to win. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, if Daniel don't do nothing by now, he got to start stepping up. 6th round came, I was completely like, nah, he looked like he's not going to, unless he just explodes on Joe Joyce and get him out of here. Because like you waiting for it, hoping it happens and looking for it, but it's like, nah. So, 7 and 8, I'm looking at his eye. Once his eye swole, once his eye, I'm like, nah, he's done. Because he can't see. And it doesn't like he has the confidence to let his hands go to get these shots, land these shots to get him out of here. It's like he was trying to not get hit in that eye. But hey, listen, it was a good fight. We had a great night, man. Today was just a beautiful day overall. Just a beautiful, beautiful day, man. So many great things happened today. I'm feeling good, man. That was a great fight. So we're gonna check out Tyson Holyfield. Yeah, we just good. But I wanted to get this video and get it done. Man, that was a good fight, man. I hope that now we'll more than likely get Joe Joyce Usyk in the rematch, and it may be different this time because Joyce is a big dude, and we'll see. I don't know. Styles do make fights. We know that. The last time they fought, man, Joe. Usyk was standing there like at a stalemate with this guy, and it's like he couldn't back him up. And I'm like, hmm, But it just go to show you the difference with the levels too, man. And two, Joe Joyce as a fighter, man. He's added some. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. So Usyk's style is different, of course, from Dubois. Movers, people that can move in box, they give you problems. Daniel Dubois. Hopefully, if he learned from this fight, really understand what he did wrong, and that what Joe Joyce did what he had to do, but I helped him to win because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So whether it was a confidence thing, that I think they was both confident going in, but Joe Joyce had the stronger will, and I can't gauge what will happen against Usyk by this fight because his style is completely different from Dubois, and we know that Usyk can move all night. And the thing is, when you're a mover like that, see that style will bother Joe Joyce more because he can't get his shots off like he need to. And Joe, we know Usyk is not going to stand there and just like wait for him, and now I know that they're both like 35 now, or I know Joyce is 35, Usyk is 34, 35, something like that. So if it's a situation where they fought and let's say Usyk can't move as much as he, we'll see. I don't know. I just want to see great fights. I'm pleased with this fight. Daniel Dubois, I can't ride him. Okay, I can't get because he did what he had tonight. To me, he wasn't confident to do the things to let his full capability come out. So this right here, like I said, the wills was different. Joe Joyce's will wasn't being broken tonight, man. Dubois just couldn't do enough. The right hand was landing, and I feel like he was getting discouraged because he couldn't get him out of there, man. So it is what it is. Plain and simple, Joe Joyce did the goddamn thing, man. And, now I'm looking like, okay, he did what he did. And when you look at potential future matchups, well, if it is Usyk, we take one fight at a time. We see what happened. I'm looking forward to the fight, and I'm not big on rematches, but I would be interested to see that fight. That's one I would be interested to see, and hopefully Dubois can pick himself up and understand. Like I said, Joe Joyce did what he had to, but Dubois, he didn't do the things that you see the potential that he has to do, the things that we know he could do. What was the body punching? He should have been going to the body, man. He should have been going to the body. He should have been moving his head, and in the training video, you saw it hurt his trainer. His trainer was telling him, like, hey, man, I'm like, hey, this is where you mess up and you want to get that out your system in training. So when you go when the fight happens, you're not making those same mistakes. But, I think too, when you get discouraged and with the less experience you have, you start to fall apart more, and you're trying to do the things necessary to win, but it's a lot of things you forget, a lot of things you're just not thinking about. And basically, Joe Joyce has a better ring IQ, better ring generalship. So overall, with everything combined, Joe Joyce showed he's the better fighter. So Daniel Dubois has to pick himself up, definitely study this tape, get pissed at himself, learn he fucked up. He helped himself get that loss, and hey, man, be ready for the next one. But what he has to do now, they'll probably bring him back in a confidence builder fight. But what he has to do, he has to step up again. He can't get to the point where, okay, I lost to Joe Joyce and just continue to fight underclassmen. No, he has to get the confidence up, but he needs to fight guys that's going to test him. Otherwise, to take some meatballs, and then get to, you can gain experience that way too. Don't get me wrong, and learn. But this was the toughest fight that he had. Best fight by far that he fought. I don't think Dubois is a better fighter than Usyk, but just his physicality and the way he was speaking, it's like, okay, he sounds like he's ready to beat Joe Joyce, but it wasn't enough. And from what I watched tonight, Um, I don't think Dubois would beat Usyk either. Dubois has ran through guys, and pretty much the more resistance that he gets, he didn't handle it tonight. So unless he learns to deal with that and how to work around that, and definitely he has to work on his stamina. I think Dubois needs to work on his stamina. He might need to shed a few pounds. You know, because I don't know if he's one of those guys that can keep his size and still get more condition. I'm not sure. But most of the time when that happens with these guys, they wind up cutting weight and then their stamina is better. Um, I for some reason don't have to do that. I'm 247 and I don't ever have to, and so that's why sometimes it's kind of like I don't know, because you know what I mean. So I don't know, but great fight, y'all. Good fight, real good fight, and I'm about to go check out Holyfield and Tyson. I'm about to go get my eat on and relax, man. Hope everybody have a blessed day, blessed night. Salute to the whole family. Hey, y'all be safe. Enjoy your night. Have a beautiful weekend. That's all I'm going to say in this video. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next one.